I'm strong in faith.
Faith can move mountains. Radio Maria 91.3 FM.
The voice of truth.
Good evening, Abuja. Welcome to Radio Maria 91.3 FM. This is Journey Through Life with me, your host, Sisi Bunmi. My guest this evening is no other one than Mrs. Dean Elizabeth Amina Yakowa. She is the widow of the former governor of Kaduna State, late Sir Patrick Ibrahim Yakowa. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Sisi Bunmi.
Yes. You were born in Koi, Jaba, local government area of Kaduna State. You're a trained teacher with a Bachelor of Arts degree from ABU Zaria. You had a distinguished career, which culminated with you becoming a deputy director, am I right?
Yes.
At the Ministry of Defense. Tell us a bit about you.
Well, as you have rightly said, my names are Right Honorable Dame Elizabeth Amina Yakowa. I was born in Kwai, Jaba local government area of Kaduna State, to a very simple and humble family of Malam Dauda Haruna and Malama Shetu Dauda Haruna. And I am number 6 out of the 7 children of this family. And it will interest you to know that I lost my father at the age of 3.
Okay.
So I really did not know who my father was, but I was told and I read a lot about him. So I may not be able to say much about him, but I've read a lot about who my father is. But my uncle and my mother actually took responsibility of taking care of the 7 children that were left in her custody. But at a certain point in time, my mom had to, take almost 95% of the responsibility, because my uncle too had his own family. And so my mother was a complete illiterate because she had never gone to school. And so she was just helpless until the missionaries in Kwai, because my father was very, very close to the missionaries because of his parents, who were preachers, and they were moving from place to place. So they had a lot of encounter with the missionaries. So the missionaries now gave her a cooking to cook in a Christian institution in Kwai. And for most of the years I grew up, I knew that my mother, it's from this work that she cooked in a Christian institute, and she trained
All of you.
all of us.
What kind of upbringing did you have?
Very, very fantastic and God-fearing upbringing. Because like I said, my father was described to me as a teacher. He was a teacher, he was a politician, and he was a preacher. So we all grew up in a well-Christian home. My mother, as I said, never played with bringing us up in a Christian manner. It will also interest you to know that I come from 100% Yakowa family.
Oh, really?
Yes, 100% Yakowa family. It is marriage that actually brought me to Catholic church, but I don't have any regrets.
And you're now a dame of the Catholic Church. Tell us about that.
To God be the glory. Well, like I said, we got married and everything was going fantastic because there was nothing. My husband did not stress me whether immediately after marriage I should follow him to Catholic school church or not. but I know he is a very devoted Catholic man. His family too are also divided, because some of them are going to Yakowa Church, some are Catholic, but the greater percentage of his family are Catholics. So we kept on doing that, and it will interest you that in fact it was the Bishop Emeritus of Kaduna that actually conducted our marriage. That is Bishop late Bishop Peter Jato. So he kept encouraging me, Elizabeth, you need to follow your husband to the Catholic Church. I said, okay, I will. So there was no problem until after I started giving birth to the children, and they started asking questions. Mommy, why are you keeping us in St. John's and going to Lemu Road, which is Yakowa Church? We are always seeing other children with their parents in the church, and we are just alone.
With our dad?
With our, that is if he's not on, because most of the time he was on transfer, so most of the time I'm the one with the children.
So you would send them to Catholic Church?
I would just go and drop them,
and then you will now go,
and then I'll go to my
Yakowa.
When I finish, I'll come and pick them. So the children were now asking me questions I could not really answer them. So at a stage, I had to go and confront my uncle. I said, since I got married, I don't have any issue with my husband apart from going to church. He wants me to follow him to Yakowa Church.
To Catholic Church?
To Catholic Church. And I don't really have the knowledge of the Catholic Church so much. My uncle did not even think twice. He said, where is the God that you see that you are serving? This man is your God. Anything he wants, do it. Follow him.
To have a happy home.
But if you go to the Catholic Church and you find that it is true they don't read the Bible, it is true that Jesus is not their salvation, then you come back. Then we will have an issue to discuss with him. But if you go and find that it is the same Jesus that we have been teaching you, even in the womb, please follow your husband. So he now had to know how to work on my mom, because she was the real problem.
Staunch Yakowa,
because they are the real SIM Yakowa. When you know, Sudan Interior Mission. So, but at the end of the day, she had no choice than to just succumb and just bless the marriage, and everything went on fine. So I had to, even in the church, I had to go to my Yakowa pastor, and I told them what was happening in my family. And in the meeting that day, many women stood up to tell me they are also from the Catholic, the Yakowa family, 100%. But now, because of marriage, they are now full Yakowa members, and they are even rose to higher level in the Yakowa Church. So our sister, please follow your husband. So everybody gave me his blessing. So I had to pipe down. I came back. I started coming to Catholic Church regularly, and I had to take some catechism classes in order to be able to understand what the faith is. And I don't have any regrets. Yeah.
Learn to read, pray the rosary.
Because it was one of the things that I told my catechism teachers then. I said, I will follow you. I will do all your prayers, because I know that they are all quotations from the Bible. But this rosary, I'm not going to recite it because I don't know the meaning. Until somebody now took time to explain to me what the whole rosary is about. He said, if you like, rosary is a summary of the Bible. And he took me in all the mysteries of the rosary. And I discovered that it is just a story about Jesus' birth, Jesus' passion, Jesus' death and resurrection, his ministry. So it's really a summary of the Bible.
And it's a weapon.
And it's a weapon for me now.
Spiritual weapon.
Because there's no way in a day I will wake up and I will go without my rosary or without praying my rosary.
Wow. That's a wonderful story to hear. You've come with some soundtracks to your life. I'm going to play the first one. The first one is Maji Kiran Kayanzu.
Naji Kiranka.
Naji Kiranka Yanzu. We'll play that for you now. That was Naji Kiranka Yanzu.
It's just, like I said, this is a very old song in Hausa, because I like most of the songs that we were singing in the Yakowa church. It's a song, from the Hausa hymn book.
Yes.
But I value it because of the words. What he just sang now is just the chorus. But if you go down deep into this thing, he said, if you are a prayerful person, you are only asking God to listen to you.
Are you a prayerful person?
That's what is keeping me going. If you're a prayerful person, you will always be asking God to hear your prayer and answer you.
It's very interesting because your names, your Elizabeth. Elizabeth was a very strong woman of faith in the Bible. You remember? She was a very strong woman. And then Amina was a warrior. So those are the two names that you bear. And did you know that before? Did you know that you were named after this powerful woman?
Like I told you, my father has a history. He was a politician. Because he was one of those politicians that represented our southern Kaduna people. It will interest you to know that he was one of those people that traveled with Sardauna, Tafawa Balewa, and the rest of them to London to go and negotiate, to represent our people in the negotiation of the independence of Nigeria.
That's interesting.
So he came back from that trip not too long when they had me. And he said, and he wrote a book in Hausa, Muraka, Malan, Dauda, Yawo, Zuwa, Ture, which means they should follow him and get his experience that he did for the first time he traveled to England. But he wrote it in Hausa and they were in pieces. It was after his death, his friends now put it in a Hausa book, Muraka Mala Lauda Yawo Suwa Ture. So that is where I got the Elizabeth. He said, since he came back not quite long from UK and Queen Elizabeth was to visit Nigeria, he now gave me that.
Wow. So you were actually named after Queen Elizabeth.
Yes.
Wow.
But that Amina, my mother told me that it's actually a missionary that came to Kwai, and that when she came, they gave her that name. So when they had me, she said she wants us to be namesake. So she named me Amina. So you see, the thing now just coincided that I have Elizabeth powerful, and I'm very powerful. And I cherish that.
So, and then you met your late husband, and Providence, by Providence you became the first lady of Kaduna State. Do you have any memorable story, any interesting experience that you want to share with us during your time as First Lady of Kaduna?
Yes, because when we entered that office, honestly, because I've worked throughout my life, I started work, when I finished school, I worked with Kaduna State government and I rose up to the level of a director before I left Kaduna State to join the federal service. And throughout my career, when I entered the government house, I thought I knew people. Because I interacted with people, especially when I joined the Ministry of Defense. I was given a whole unit to head. So I had opportunity to meet so many, prominent people. So, and I had so many staff, because the office I was heading in Ministry of Defense was an office that is taking care of all the civilians in the military formations in Abuja metropolis, in Suleja, and in Kefi. So like teachers, nurses, doctors, all the civilian staff were under my office. I was preparing and paying their salary, their welfare, and the junior ones, we conduct their interview. So I thought I knew people. But when I entered government house and I started dealing with politicians, I said I didn't know human beings at all. So I had to start learning
all over
how to deal.
So what particular experience do you want to share with us? What particular story that happened while you were First Lady that comes to mind?
Because when you are First Lady, every blessed day there are stories you will hear. Please be careful with this woman, be careful with that one, don't do with this one, do with that one, because this one is pursuing Yakowa there, this one is pursuing Yakowa there. So I said, how will I handle this? How many women in Kaduna? So I had to find a way of making sure that me, I don't have time for that kind of thing. I'm here to see how we can touch the lives of people.
Yes.
And I sometimes, if Sisi Bunmi comes and tell me, they see, don't go with Sisi Bunmi because they saw how with Patrick. I say, it is you. They say they first saw before they saw Sisi Bunmi.
Wisdom.
So at a stage they said, leave this woman alone, because if you go, she will reply you in the way you will not like it. So leave her that image. And because I so know my husband so much.
You're listening to Journey Through Life with me, Sisi Bunmi. My guest this evening is Dame Elizabeth Amina Yakowa, the former First Lady of Kaduna State. You can join this conversation on 081-084-47518. You can send an SMS message or a WhatsApp message. Your Excellency.
So, because I know him so well, and I know that he's very harmless, he's my husband, he's my personal husband, I was not shaking for anything.
You had the confidence.
I had the confidence.
So, then you meet your husband, you get married, you become First Lady, everything was going well, you had your 4 children, life was normal. And then this tragic day happens.
Yeah.
You got a call.
It's an experience that I can never forget. Because that morning, I was a bit down, because in fact, that week was very full of activities. So I was a bit down, and he wanted us to come to Abuja for something on a Sunday, and he left for this journey on Saturday. So he left that morning and did not even allow me. He said, don't worry, I've even made the akamo myself, I've taken it, so don't worry, just go. Make sure if I leave, you off your phone and rest and take your medications, because I want you to be well. Sunday by 9 o'clock, I want you to join me in Abuja for another program. I said, okay. So when he left, he was on his way calling. Why is your phone still on? Why is your phone, because he had a chartered plane from Kaduna before this helicopter. So at a stage when I got tired, I now put all my phones, off. And I took my medications and I slept. At around 1, I just felt as if I was hungry because I did not eat anything. I was not feeling well. So I used to have a kitchen, upstairs, a small kitchen where I can do something very small. So I said I wanted to do some acha pap. So I went in there to do it. So as I entered the kitchen, I finished the acha. I said, let me go and take it. Then a lady now came upstairs. She's a sister-in-law to my sister-in-law, because then my sister-in-law came to stay with us for some time, because she also lost her husband not too long. So when I saw her, I was even quarreling with my sister-in-law. I said, I told you today I don't want to see anybody because I'm not. She said, please, mommy, just help me see if she is already in government house. She says she wants to thank you for what, I don't know. So just give her a few minutes. I said, okay. So I took her to a side parlor and we were sitting down. I kept the acha. I was not even drinking it. I said, okay, I'm listening to you. As soon as she wanted to start talking to me, her phone started ringing. That was around 2. Her phone started ringing. And they were asking her, from what later I understand, they were asking her, where are you? Because I think the news had already circulated everywhere. So they were asking her, where are you? Where are you? She said she's in government house. Oh, so when they heard that she was in government house, they started bombarding her
with phone calls.
But she didn't tell me what they were telling her. I said, you kept me here. You did not tell me what brought you here. You have been on phone with people. What is it that is happening that you are not talking to me? If you are done with your visit, let me go, because as you can see, I'm not feeling fine. So the next thing she told me was that, call your husband. I said, call my husband? Is it you that will tell me when to call my husband? She said, call him. I said, and I don't understand. Then I now ask her, are all these conversation calls that you are getting, is it about my husband, or there is a problem in Kaduna somewhere? She said she doesn't know. Who is calling you? Who are the people calling you? She said she doesn't know. So as we continued that, I was getting very angry with her, because I really didn't understand why she's keeping me and behaving like that. Then I saw all the key staff of my house, from the chief of staff to the PPS to the director SS, everybody. They were just climbing the stairs to my private wing in government house.
So you must have known that surely something was wrong.
And the person that was leading the delegation is my very, very close husband's friend, because he is the chief of staff of government house. So I knew something has gone wrong, because he has never just budged onto me like that without
notice,
calling me or telling me. And even if he will come, because we are so close, he cannot come with almost 10, 12 people. So I just stood up and I faced him. And I said, my brother, because I used to call him my brother, I said, from the way you people have come and straight to it's like you are in my bedroom, because this is our private section. Something is wrong. Please don't take me round. Just tell me what it is. What is it? Don't take me round and round. I said, I have seen a lot. We have come a long way with you. Don't go. So when he couldn't do any roundabout, he said, they said, your husband just had a helicopter crash, but we don't have any more details. So all of them now left. I could see them all in tears. They left. So that was how I retired back to my room. I had to say a short prayer, and I went to Psalm 121. I lift up my eyes to the mountains, from where my help cometh from. My help cometh from God, who made heaven and earth. And I also remember 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 8, which says, in everything, in every situation, you must give God thanks.
So even at that moment, your faith was that strong.
Yes, and I only asked God, please give me the courage to face people. Give me the courage, whatever it is, let me be able to, you will help me handle, because I will not have this thing. Wow. I was praying and praying. So by the time I now opened the door, I saw that the whole of Kaduna were already trying to remove the door of my room, because they thought I locked myself and I wanted to do something nasty. So I was just stepping on people like that to get downstairs. I saw that the whole Kaduna was in government house. And I think when I saw the crowd, that was the last time I knew what was happening, and I went off. And after some minutes, when I came back, I had some of the pastors and priests and all the men of God that were in Kaduna, Bishop Bagobiri, and some pastors were saying, this woman is asking for the Holy Spirit. Please, instead of us crying upon her, let us help her pray. Invoke the Holy Spirit to take over, as she's praying that the Holy Spirit should take over.
That's interesting. The next soundtrack to your life is Makiyaina.
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 Yes, God. Jesus is a
Makiyaina.
good shepherd.
Makiyaina. I'll play that for you now. You're listening to Journey Through Life with me, Sisi Bunmi. My guest this evening is Dame Elizabeth Amina Yakowa. She was the First Lady of Kaduna State. Her husband was the late Sir Patrick Ibrahim Yakowa. You can join this conversation on 081-084-47518, or you can send an SMS message or a WhatsApp message. So, Your Excellency, so you get the tragic, the shocking, I cannot even imagine. You woke up that day, you were going about your business, First Lady, with all the power and the privilege and the influence, and in a split second, it's all gone. It's all gone.
Thank God for the man I married. Because from the day we entered government house, he gathered me and the children and said, please, let us not carry this sin on our head. He wants us, when we leave government house, we don't feel anything. So let us be ourselves and let us know that he's on a mission to come and do something in Kaduna
For the people.
For the people.
But still, he
And
wants
being that the first Christian to become a governor in Kaduna State, don't I think he has a responsibility to prove that we can also take the leadership? So he was always saying that is the mentality he wants us to think and to help him achieve.
Who kept you, he will continue to sustain you and your entire family.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I
That was a
appreciate it.
very, very encouraging call. Yes. Do you know, if I had to describe you, just to follow up on that call in one word, serene. Another call. We have another caller. Good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yes, my name is Ambassador Lizzie Okuma.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you. I'm calling from Asokoro.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to say, Mrs. Dame Elizabeth
Dame.
Yakowa is a very humble woman. She's a very, very humble and prayerful woman. And I love her for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I want
Thank
to
you.
encourage her to continue with her character.
Thank you.
Yes.
She's a very loving woman.
Thank you.
Thank
Patient
you.
woman, very
Thank
loving.
you.
She's always smiling.
Yes.
Whenever I see her, I'll say, Mommy, say namesake. How are you? She's
thank
very,
you.
very humble. Even when I invited her for my program, I thought she would not come. She left a wedding that she was supposed to be mother of the day and came to my program just to thank God for me.
And to
I will never
support you.
forget that.
Yeah. Thank you.
you.
Thank you for
Thank
that
you.
call.
I love you, Mama.
Thank you so much, namesake. Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you.
I was saying, if I had to describe you in one word, I would say serene. You know, you have this calmness, this confidence, you know, and this strength, you know, without being you don't intimidate, you just carry this grace about you. Has anybody ever told you that? You know, you have this confidence, this serenity about you. You know, when I see you, I think serenity, you know. And like this caller said, the humility is what I also remember your husband for. I didn't know him, you know, but I saw him a few times. And one thing that struck me was people were able to approach him. He didn't have any airs and grace about him. He didn't come with a, you know, battalion of security, you know, to the church, you know. And I remember when he died, another caller, okay, good evening. What's your name and where you calling? Good evening. What's your name and where you calling from?
I'm calling from
Okay.
Yeah, well, I really enjoy story. Like, I know a little bit of the story because when we were growing up, we heard about them because I used to play.
Thank you.
She's a very nice woman and I love her.
Oh, thank
you.
you so
Thank
much. Oh, you
you.
have a fan
Thank
base
you.
out there, you know. You know, honestly, your late husband, when he died, the church stood still. I encountered somebody that was in tears, was crying. I'm like, why? You know, you're not from Kaduna, you know, but he was a good man. People kept saying that he was a good man. He was a good man. What do you think his legacy was? What do you think he would have wanted his legacy to be?
He wanted a one Nigeria. To see people from different parts of this country coming together
As one.
Regardless of your political party or your religion or your ethnicity or anything. He wanted this country, let us see ourselves as one, as brothers and sisters.
He was a man of peace.
He was a man of peace.
Yes. And I mean, the church was in mourning for a long time after your husband died. How has it been so far? It's been 13
It's not an easy road, like a song says. It's not an easy road. But I continue to give God the glory. The first 2 years, I decided, let me just shut up, and everything was just over. But I had to rethink, and I said, I don't think this man would want me to just be thinking and mourning and until I make myself okay, follow him. Of what use
and
is
the
that?
children are there.
And the children are there. The grandchildren are there.
Yes.
He was lucky to see his first grandchildren that were twins before he died. So I had to just speak to myself, and I said, I will continue from where he stopped.
So if there's any woman, any widow listening to us now and having difficulty moving forward, what do you have to say to that woman listening to us now?
Let her not be afraid. Let her not fear. Take up those pieces. Gather it. Fix your puzzle yourself.
Fix your puzzle yourself. I like that.
Yes.
Yes.
And put God in everything you are doing. The fear of God. And if you are a younger woman, please train your children very well. Because the whole of my time, that was why I had to initially take up teaching career, to be able to have time to bring up my children that I'm very, very proud of today. I can go to sleep. Everybody is on his own, and they never depended that their father was was a minister, no.
They're all
So
independent.
if you train your children very well, you will see that at your old age, you will not have any problem.
I think this advice is for everybody, whether you're a widow or not.
Exactly.
You have to train your children
But
very
if you
well.
are a widow, know that the death of your husband is not the end of your life.
Because I actually have a friend who lost her husband about 3 years ago, and the wound is still so raw. She's having so much difficulty getting over it. So
She needs to work hard, and she will only be the one to heal herself and make a decision, take a decision.
I'm going to tell her,
herself.
fix the puzzle
Yes.
yourself. I
Fix
like
the
that.
puzzle.
Yes. Your Excellency, the next soundtrack to your life is Hymn 289.
Yeah.
We'll play it for you now. What a friend we have
Oh,
in Jesus.
Yes.
That's a special song to you?
Very,
Special
very
hymn.
special, because I just decided, I said I cannot go this journey alone. I have to go along with Jesus. And since then, I have decided to follow him and hold the hem of his garment, like the woman with the issue
With the blood.
of blood. And God has been very, very faithful.
Thank God. So, Your Excellency, what do you think your late husband will be most surprised about looking back over this past 13 years? What do you think he'll be most surprised about?
When I look at what is happening, the way we treat ourselves as a country, as a people, I would say, Kai, if this man would have been alive, I think that one would have been enough to send him also to his early grave, because I'm sure he, like I said, he was somebody who wanted to see this country
As one.
as one. people should look at themselves as one. So if he would have been, he would not be happy seeing where we are, very divided in so many ways.
And then the other side, what do you think he would be most happy and proud of looking back in the last 13 years? Maybe within your family or the children?
Well, I'm sure he will be very happy that...
we have another caller. Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good evening, Radio Nigeria.
Thank you. You're welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm only in the house.
Thank you.
My name is Dasam from Kaladimawa.
Welcome to the program.
I listened to the wonderful testimony of our mommy there. Though I did not know much about the former governor and his activities, but with what people testify about him and what our mommy there has shared with us, I want just to also contribute mine on this line. That what make all the successes and testimony behind our mommy there is as a result of a good foundation laid by the husband and by the family, by her family that led her to know Christ, and husband was a
Oh, we lost that caller. Maybe you'll call back. Thank you for the call anyway. Yes. So you were saying, what do you think you'll be most proud of if he's looking down on you now?
I'm sure for him, because if there was anything my husband was so much committed to, is his family. He comes from a very polygamy family.
Yes.
And the family is still intact.
So he'll be most...
I make sure that we are still intact, because when he died, people were saying, I will see how this family, maybe it's the beginning of the crumbling of this family. But to their amazement, we are still one family. Everything is going, so fine. I'm in contact with his people in the village. I have never run away from them. Everything I'm doing, they are aware. They are always coming to me. And I'm sure he will be very happy that his family is still intact.
That's you're talking of his half brothers and sisters and extended family.
Yes.
And you set up a foundation in his honor, didn't you?
Yeah.
Tell us about that, Your Excellency.
2 years ago, when we celebrated his 10th anniversary, we decided to launch a foundation, Patrick Ibrahim Yakowa Foundation, because as a family, we strongly believed that we didn't want the legacy of that man to just go down the drain.
Like that.
So when we celebrated his 10th anniversary, we launched a foundation, and the foundation is still work in progress. We are working, little interventions we are doing, and it's been nice because there are so many areas he would have, like education.
What's the focus of the foundation?
It cut across,
yes,
because we are touching on education, like and health, and even grooming leaders. He wants to see people that he was actually in the verge of seeing how he can know the ways he can groom leaders to be able to take the leadership of this country.
Yes.
So it cut across. We are not dealing on only one thing, but depending on the grace of God that will be sufficient for us, we have started and we are work in progress. Just recently, when we celebrated his 12th anniversary, we went to the village and we gave some interventions to some of the schools. Right now, we have already compiled names of some schools, especially his alma mater of the schools he attended, and we are going to pay for their JAM fees. And so there are little interventions that we are doing.
The website is www.patrickibrahimyakowafoundation.org. So if you're listening and you wish to support this foundation, that is the website. You can check it up. So is any of your children following in his footsteps into politics?
I cannot say, because I cannot rule it now. Because even my husband, he would, if he's alive today, he will tell you how I vehemently didn't want him to join politics.
So if any of your child wanted to join,
but so at the end of the day, I had to succumb because of pressure of his friends and his associates. So for now, I don't think I have any child that has indicated, but in future, I don't know.
And would you support them if they did?
I don't think I will.
Really?
The pressure is too much.
Mm.
And the politics of now is different.
I'm going to play one of your husband's favorite hymns, hymn 125A.
Perfect submission.
When we were in government house, he made sure we opened a chapel within the house, in government house, and all of us in the house were...
We have another caller. Good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, my name is Nnamdi Obiechina.
You're welcome to the program, Nnamdi.
Hello?
Yes, go on.
You're hearing me, Adina Mariaba?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Nnamdi Obiechina. I want to appreciate the Excellency for coming to share her stories. Her husband was a wonderful governor. The husband was a blessing to Nigeria. I remember the week we heard that terrible stories. I was supposed to be at the government house the following week to meet with him. We had program in Our Lady Queen of Nigeria Pro Cathedral, and then he was our special guest, and he sent one of the commissioners to come in and represent him because he wasn't around. So we were invited to come after, only for us to hear that terrible news. My prayer is that the God that you and your husband served, the God that you and your husband served will preserve you. Amen. And will strengthen you. Amen. And your family in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Do not be afraid. Yes. There is a future. Patrick Yakowa may have died, but he's still living because you are there. He lives inside of you, and he lives inside of your children. May God continue to strengthen you, even as you continue to serve him in the name of Jesus.
Thank you so much for those kind words.
Thank you.
So, Your Excellency, how do you relax? Because you're in your 70s, but nobody will see you and say you're in your 70s. Like I said to you, when I look at you, I think of serenity. You're always serene, you're always calm, you know. So tell us.
Well, about 2 years ago, I used to have a poultry farm. But because of security, because the poultry farm is along where this kidnappers are there, so I have stopped going there for about 3-4 years now. So everything has slowed down. I used to produce a lot of eggs. People come from Zamfara, Kaduna, Abuja.
And you relax, and that makes you relax?
When I go and I see I'm packing eggs, counting money. Relax.
I like that. So, Your Excellency, swallow or rice?
Me?
Yes,
swallow.
Two shinkafa with what kind of soup?
Karkashi.
Washed down with champagne or...
No, I don't. Alcohol, I've left alcohol for maybe a couple of years now. It's not, my system has rejected it, so I left it. I just water. Or I squeeze fresh juice, and I take ozobo or some one of this, but not alcohol anymore.
Oh, wow. So what is one luxury item that you cannot live without? One luxury item that you cannot live without.
Do I really have anything that I cannot live without?
You're not attached to anything.
I'm not attached to anything, really.
Simple life.
Except if you're asking me to detach myself from my grandchildren, then.
Oh, well. No, they're not objects. I'm
okay, objects. No. I'm not attached to anything because I don't take anything to be. I'm not attached to anything.
So are you happy now?
I'm very, very happy.
Yes.
I'm very happy.
What makes you happy? Your children, grandchildren?
The grandchildren are nobody is giving me any headache. The grandchildren are growing in front of me and I'm seeing them. I'm just so grateful to God.
Thank God. Thank Jesus.
Yes.
Thank Master Jesus. Have you enjoyed your time with us here at
Very much.
Will you come again when we invite you?
I will come again and again.
Yes. I mean, we've never had this kind of passion about our guests. People have been calling you with so much love for you and for your husband, So we thank you very, very much. We're going to close this with your husband's, one of your husband's favorite hymns, hymn 35. My guest this evening has been Dame Elizabeth Amina Yakowa, the former First Lady of Kaduna State, wife to the late Sir Patrick Ibrahim Yakowa of blessed memory. We thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sisi Bunmi.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed your time.
Very, very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you for staying with us. Remember to tune into Radio Maria 91.3 FM always and every day. And remember to join me again next week, Monday, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Thank you very much, Abuja. Have a good evening.